Diana Ross hasn't been shy about her deep connection with the King of Pop. From their early Motown days to the heartbreak of his passing, their bond ran decades deep. So let's get into it, what their friendship was really like, and what Diana shared about her lifelong tie to Michael Jackson and the impact he left behind. Roots of the King of Pop. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, a gritty steel town where dreams were tough to come by, but music filled every corner. He grew up in a small, cramped house on Jackson Street, sharing the space with 8 siblings. His mom, Catherine, was the steady heart of the family. A woman with a deep love for music, she played piano and clarinet, worked part-time at Sears, and raised her children as Jehovah's Witnesses, instilling strong values and discipline. She believed in nurturing their talents, even when times were hard. Michael's dad, Joe, was a man of many hats. Once a boxer in his younger days, he spent long hours working at U.S. Steel to support the family. But music was always a side hustle for Joe. He played guitar in a local band, hustling to put food on the table and keep the household lights on. The Jacksons didn't have much in terms of money or space, but their home was alive with rhythm, noise, and a fierce passion for music that would soon take them far beyond Gary. Michael had 5 older brothers: Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Randy. He also had 3 sisters: Rebby, Latoya, and Janet. There was also a twin brother, Brandon, who tragically passed away shortly after birth, a sorrow that hung quietly in the family's early story. Michael and Marlon were the youngest to join their dad's band, which was originally called the Jackson Brothers. They started out with whatever instruments they could grab. They had everything from congas, tambourines, and little percussion bits. With these began learning the basics of rhythm and teamwork, but the household wasn't always harmonious. Michael later spoke about his dad's strict, sometimes harsh discipline. Joe could be verbally tough, calling Michael names like fat nose, and wasn't shy about using a belt during rehearsals to keep the boys in line. Joe himself admitted to spanking Michael, saying that was just how discipline was done in those days, though it left a lasting impact on Michael. By 1965, things began to get serious. The group evolved into the Jackson 5, with Michael and Jermaine sharing lead vocals. They threw themselves into talent shows, local clubs, and any stage willing to take a chance on them. Their energy and raw talent opened doors, and soon enough, they were opening for legends like Gladys Knight and Sam and Dave, gaining invaluable experience. Their big break came when Bobby Taylor noticed them and helped get them in front of Motown Records. With the Motown machine behind them, their star quickly rose. Songs like Big Boy and Who's Lovin' You introduced their unique sound to the world, making them one of the first black groups to crack the mainstream pop market in a major way. From those humble beginnings in Gary, the Jackson family was on a trajectory that would change music history forever. Living the Motown dream and its challenges. When the Jackson 5 signed with Motown in 1969, the entire Jackson family uprooted their lives and moved to Los Angeles. This was a big leap from their humble beginnings in Gary, Indiana, but Motown had big plans. The label wanted to launch the Jackson 5 as its next major act, and to help give the group a high-profile boost, Motown arranged for Diana Ross herself to introduce the boys to the world. It was a savvy move. Not only would this spotlight the Jackson 5, but it also helped raise Diana's profile ahead of her upcoming television projects. This marked a shift in Motown's approach, moving away from the assembly line style of creating stars and focusing more on individual storytelling and star power. The Jackson 5 made their television debut performing It's Your Thing at the Miss Black America pageant that same year. Critics were blown away, especially by young Michael. Even at 9 years old, his voice, charisma, and stage presence set him apart. People weren't just impressed, they were in awe. Michael was quickly being hailed as a musical prodigy with a talent far beyond his years. Just a few months later, in January 1970, the Jackson 5's single I Want You Back shot to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, where it stayed for 4 straight weeks. That song kicked off a string of hits that propelled the group into superstardom almost overnight. By May 1971, the family had upgraded from their modest Gary home to a sprawling estate in Encino, California. Michael's star shone brighter with each passing year. He wasn't just the lead singer, he was becoming a full-blown teen idol. Between 1972 and 1975, he released 4 solo albums with Motown. Got to Be There, Ben, Music and Me, and Forever, Michael. Tracks like Ben, Got to Be There, and his spirited cover of Rockin' Robin showed he had the chops to succeed on his own. Even as Michael explored his solo career, he remained committed to the group. The Jackson 5 were breaking racial and musical barriers, becoming one of the first black groups to truly cross over to mainstream audiences. But behind the scenes, tension was brewing. Motown tightly controlled every creative move, from song choices to image, and the Jackson family, full of ambition and ideas, began chafing under the label's restrictions. They wanted more freedom to grow as artists, setting the stage for the next big chapter in their journey. New label, new sound. In 1975, the Jackson 5 made a major career move by leaving Motown and signing with Epic Records. With this switch, they dropped the 5 from their name and rebranded simply as the Jacksons. Their younger brother Randy joined the group, stepping in as Jermaine decided to stay with Motown to focus on his solo career. This shift marked a new chapter for the brothers, giving them more creative control and the freedom to explore new sounds. Despite the lineup changes and label switch, the Jacksons continued to tour extensively around the world, building a loyal fan base with their energetic performances. During this period, Michael really stepped up his role, not just as the lead singer, but as the group's main songwriter and creative force. He penned hits like Shake Your Body, Down to the Ground, This Place Hotel, and Can You Feel It? Songs that showcased his growing musical sophistication and flair for innovation. In 1977, Michael expanded his artistic reach by trying his hand at acting. He moved to New York City to star as the Scarecrow in The Wiz, alongside Diana Ross and other notable performers. Though the film didn't perform well at the box office, its soundtrack was arranged by Quincy Jones, sparking a legendary partnership that would redefine Michael's solo career. During his time in New York, Michael immersed himself in emerging music styles, including the early beats of hip-hop, especially at iconic spots like Studio 54. These new sounds influenced tracks like Working Day and Night, blending disco, funk, and emerging urban beats. Around this time, Michael also underwent his first rhinoplasty, signaling his desire to refine his image. Michael's solo career truly took off with the release of Off the Wall in 1979. This album showcased a more mature and nuanced sound, moving beyond the youthful pop of his earlier years. The record sold over 20 million copies worldwide, earning him multiple awards and establishing him as a serious solo artist. Then came Thriller in 1982, a game-changer that didn't just break records but shattered them. Selling approximately 70 million copies, it remains the best-selling album of all time. The album produced 7 top 10 Billboard singles, including timeless hits like Beat It and Wanna Be Startin' Something. This monumental success cemented Michael Jackson as a global superstar and cultural icon. By the early 1980s, Michael Jackson was far more than just a pop star. He had become a cultural force whose groundbreaking music, electrifying performances, and unmistakable style transcended racial and genre boundaries. His influence reshaped the music industry and inspired countless artists, leaving a legacy that continues to resonate across generations. Fires, fame, and facing the spotlight. In November 1983, Michael Jackson and his brothers teamed up with PepsiCo for a groundbreaking $5 million promotional deal. This wasn't just your average endorsement. It covered tours, events, and even in-store displays. Michael helped craft the Pepsi ad and suggested using his hit Billie Jean with fresh lyrics for the commercial. But things went sideways on January 27, 1984, during a shoot at the Shrine Auditorium in LA. A pyrotechnics accident set Michael's hair on fire, causing second-degree burns on his scalp. He needed treatment to cover the scars and ended up having his third nose surgery. Pepsi settled the matter out of court, and Michael generously donated the $1.5 million settlement to a medical center in California. Later in the decade, Michael signed a bigger Pepsi deal worth $10 million, covering 20 countries and supporting his Bad album and world tour. While he had other endorsements, nothing matched his Pepsi partnership. Around this time, Michael's skin started to lighten, sparking rumors that he was bleaching it. But his dermatologist, Dr. Arnold Klein, diagnosed him with vitiligo, a condition that causes loss of skin pigment, and lupus, which can also affect the skin. Michael used makeup and possibly some skin treatments to even out his appearance, explaining he didn't choose this and felt hurt by the rumors. Michael grew close to Dr. Klein and his assistant Debbie Rowe, who later became his second wife and mother of 2 of his kids. In his 1988 autobiography and a 1993 interview, Michael admitted to 2 nose surgeries and a cleft chin surgery, but denied more extensive cosmetic work. He said he lost weight in the early 80s to get a dancer's body, though rumors about dizziness and anorexia followed. His mother later suggested he had more surgeries and might have been addicted to them. Rumors swirled in 1986 that Michael slept in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber to slow aging. He denied it, saying the photos were for a movie role. Other wild stories, like hormone shots to keep his voice high, proposing to Elizabeth Taylor, and eye surgeries, were mostly denied by his manager. In 1988, Michael bought a huge California property and built Neverland Ranch, a playground complete with a Ferris wheel, carousel, movie theater, and even a zoo. Around then, he broke new ground, appearing in the first Western TV ad in the Soviet Union. Elizabeth Taylor called him the true king of pop, rock, and soul, and President George H.W. Bush named him the White House's Artist of the Decade. Storms in the spotlight. In August 1993, Michael Jackson faced serious allegations when 13-year-old Jordan Chandler and his father, Evan, accused him of child sexual abuse. Jordan claimed inappropriate acts, including kissing and other sexual behaviors. At first, Jordan's mother didn't believe it, but she soon changed her mind. Evan Chandler was recorded saying he planned to press charges. Michael insisted the accusations were attempts to extort money, calling Evan a jealous father. Adding to the chaos, Jackson's sister LaToya initially accused him too, but later retracted, saying her abusive husband forced her statements. That same month, police searched Jackson's home and found 2 legal art books containing photos of young boys in various states of undress. Michael denied knowing about the books, saying they must have been sent to him unopened. Jordan described Jackson's anatomy to police, but a strip search later showed the description didn't match. In January 1994, Jackson settled the case out of court for $23 million. The police did not file criminal charges, and without Jordan's testimony, the investigation closed that September. At the time, Michael was using painkillers to manage injuries from his 1984 Pepsi commercial accident. The stress of the allegations worsened his dependency. On November 12, 1993, he canceled the rest of his Dangerous World Tour, citing health issues and stress. He publicly thanked Elizabeth Taylor for her support during the difficult period. The tour's end also meant the end of his Pepsi sponsorship. Despite everything, Michael kept working. He composed music for the Sega Genesis game Sonic the Hedgehog 3, though he left the project around the allegations and remained uncredited, a fact later confirmed by team members. In 1996, Michael married Debbie Rowe in Sydney, Australia. She was pregnant with their first child. Their son, Michael Joseph Jackson Jr., Prince, was born in 1997, followed by daughter Paris Michael Catherine Jackson in 1998. They divorced in 2000, with Rowe giving up custody in exchange for an $8 million settlement. In January 2002, Michael's third child, Prince Michael Jackson II, Blanket, was born via surrogate. That November, he faced criticism for briefly dangling Blanket over a Berlin hotel balcony. In 2003, the Martin Bashir documentary Living with Michael Jackson sparked controversy after showing Jackson holding hands and discussing sleepovers with a 12-year-old boy. Jackson insisted there was nothing inappropriate. Later that year, Michael faced new child molestation charges. He pleaded not guilty, and after a high-profile trial starting in 2005, he was acquitted on all counts in June. Afterward, Michael withdrew from the public eye, living in Bahrain with the hospitality of Sheikh Abdullah. He signed with a startup record label, but the deal fell through. Financial struggles followed, with Jackson using his music catalog as loan collateral. Despite the turmoil, Michael Jackson's influence on music and pop culture remains undeniable. If you are enjoying this video, appreciate it by giving it a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Diana Ross, the voice behind the spotlight. Diana Ross has built a remarkable career as both a singer and actress, leaving a lasting mark on music and film that few can match. She first rose to fame alongside friends Mary Wilson and Florence Ballard as part of the Supremes, a group that would go on to become one of the most iconic acts in Motown history, and indeed, in the entire music world. Signing with Motown in the 1960s, the Supremes quickly rose to the top of the charts with unforgettable hits like Baby Love, Stop, In the Name of Love, and You Can't Hurry Love. Their smooth harmonies, polished performances, and glamorous style made them the first African-American group to achieve widespread crossover success on mainstream radio. They broke barriers at a time when the music industry was heavily segregated, paving the way for countless artists who followed. In the 1970s, Diana stepped out on her own and launched a solo career that not only matched, but in many ways, surpassed her success with the Supremes. With chart toppers like Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Touch Me in the Morning, and Upside Down, Ross proved her versatility and power as a vocalist. She became known not just for her incredible voice, but also for her commanding stage presence, dazzling audiences with every performance. Her fashion sense, bold, elegant, and trend-setting, cemented her status as a style icon. But Diana Ross's talents weren't limited to music. She made significant waves in Hollywood, proving she could act with equal skill. In 1972, she portrayed jazz legend Billie Holiday in Lady Sings the Blues, a performance that earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress, a rare feat for a singer crossing over into film. She continued to star in movies such as Mahogany and The Wiz, where she shared the screen with Michael Jackson, blending her musical and acting talents. On the personal front, Diana's life has had its share of ups and downs. She married twice, first to music executive Robert Ellis Silberstein, with whom she had 3 daughters, including Rhonda Ross. Later, she married Norwegian businessman Arne Næss Jr., and they had 2 sons together. Though her marriages faced challenges, often under public scrutiny, Diana handled them with grace and resilience. Throughout all the triumphs and trials, Diana Ross has remained a symbol of strength, elegance, and unwavering dedication to her craft. Her impact on music, fashion, and popular culture continues to inspire generations of artists and fans alike. Today, she is celebrated as a true trailblazer whose legacy shines as brightly as her unforgettable voice. Diana Ross on Michael, a genius remembered. Diana Ross always saw Michael Jackson as something truly special, an extraordinary talent whose career left her genuinely in awe. From the very beginning, when she first watched him perform as a kid with the Jackson 5, she recognized something rare. It wasn't just his incredible voice or his lightning-fast dance moves. It was the way he owned the stage with a confidence far beyond his years. Even as a child, Michael had a magnetic presence that could hold an audience spellbound. Diana understood early on that she was witnessing the rise of a legend in the making. Ross didn't just admire Michael from afar. She actively supported him as he stepped into the spotlight as a solo artist. She appeared alongside him on TV specials and collaborated on projects like The Wiz, which gave her a front-row seat to his evolving artistry. Watching him grow from a young prodigy into a global superstar, Diana was always impressed by his relentless drive. She often spoke about his work ethic, how Michael pushed himself to perfect every move, every note, and every performance detail, refusing to settle for anything less than extraordinary. Over the years, Diana admired not only Michael's musical talent, but also his ability to connect with people on a deeper level. His shows weren't just concerts. They were experiences filled with raw passion and energy that moved audiences worldwide. She described him as a magnificent force, a phrase that captures the powerful way he inspired millions and broke down racial and cultural barriers in the music industry. Even as controversy swirled around Michael later in life, Diana stood firmly by his side, defending his legacy in the difficult moments. To her, Michael Jackson wasn't just a performer. He was a trailblazer who transformed pop music forever. His influence can still be felt in today's artists, and his pioneering spirit continues to inspire new generations. Diana Ross's admiration for Michael highlights not only their personal connection, but also the profound and lasting impact he had on her and the entire world of music. Their shared journey is a testament to the power of talent, dedication, and the bonds formed through artistry and friendship. More than meets the eye? Everyone has someone they look up to, but Michael Jackson took admiration to a whole new level with Diana Ross. And honestly, who wouldn't? She's a superstar who can light up any room with just a glance, and she's still shining today. Michael met Diana when he was just 9 and part of the Jackson 5. From that moment, their connection ran deep, lasting until his death. Michael often described their relationship as more like mother and son, even though Diana had her own kids. Sometimes he called it sibling-like, and at other times, he even hinted at something more romantic, despite their 15-year age gap. Diana has always defended Michael and never misses his birthday. Sure, rumors swirled about their relationship, but their bond stayed unbreakable. Contrary to popular belief, Diana didn't discover the Jackson 5, but Michael liked to think she did. He once said, "I thought I was going to be an old man before being discovered, but along came Miss Diana Ross to save my career." As Michael launched his solo career, he appeared on Diana's TV show and even lived with her for a time. By the 80s, their relationship had grown beyond the professional. In a 1981 TV special, Diana teased Michael for being very sexy, sparking fan speculation about their closeness. Michael reportedly got jealous of the men in Diana's life, and his brother Jermaine said they had an on-again, off-again relationship. Michael called Diana his girlfriend, but biographer J. Randy Taraborelli says there was no sexual relationship. Michael was heartbroken when Diana married Arne Naess, even skipping the wedding, telling Taraborelli, "I was jealous because I've always loved Diana Ross and always will." Rumors flew. Some said Michael's plastic surgeries were because he wanted to look like Diana. Diana herself said in Taraborelli's book, Call Me Miss Ross, "I was older. He kind of idolized me and wanted to sing like me." There's even a story about Michael backstage in Las Vegas, found putting on her makeup. One bizarre rumor claimed Michael was actually Diana's biological son. While not true, Diana often referred to Michael as her son. On The Merv Griffin Show in 1970, she said, "Michael has always been like a son or brother to me." They appeared hand in hand at the 1981 Oscars, and Diana mentioned a film where Michael would play her son. When Michael collapsed during a 1995 rehearsal, Diana rushed to his hospital bedside like a concerned mother. She defended him against criticism of his surgeries and stayed fiercely loyal. Their bond was deep, and she likely felt a maternal role in his life. After Michael died in 2009, Diana's heartfelt statement said it all. "I can't stop crying. This is too sudden and shocking. My heart is hurting. I am in prayer for his kids and the family." It later came out that Michael named Diana as the second guardian of his children in his 2002 will. Diana has stood by Michael's honor, especially after the controversial Leaving Neverland documentary. She tweeted, "I believe and trust that Michael Jackson was and is a magnificent, incredible force to me and to many others." Diana Ross's life is packed with incredible highs, both in her career and personal relationships. Her bond with Michael Jackson was unique, a mix of love, admiration, and unbreakable connection that lasted right up to the end. Loyalty in the face of controversy. Diana Ross took to Twitter to stand up for her longtime friend Michael Jackson after the renewed storm stirred by the documentary Leaving Neverland. The film brought back serious allegations of sexual abuse against Jackson, sparking intense debate. At 74, Ross remains a powerful figure in music, known not only for her iconic voice, but also for her unwavering loyalty and influence. In her tweet, Diana cleverly referenced her own hit, Stop, in the Name of Love, to express her trust in Michael's character, calling him a magnificent, incredible force. Her words struck a chord with many fans, earning thousands of likes and retweets. Yet, they also drew criticism from those who take the allegations very seriously. Diana's connection to Michael goes way back to the early 70s, when she helped launch his career. As a Supreme, she played a key role in bringing the Jackson 5 into the Motown spotlight. Leaving Neverland, directed by Dan Reed, dives deep into allegations from Wade Robson and James Safechuck, who claim they were abused by Jackson as children. Both men had defended Michael in earlier legal battles, but came forward with detailed accusations in the documentary, reopening wounds and dividing opinions. Around the same time, Barbra Streisand sparked controversy by making remarks that seemed to question the accusers and their parents, suggesting sympathy for Michael due to his troubled past. After the backlash, she apologized and clarified she didn't intend to downplay the seriousness of abuse or survivors' trauma. Against this backdrop, Diana Ross's defense of Michael carried notable weight, reflecting her personal conviction and the complicated emotions tied to the allegations. The debate over Michael Jackson's legacy remains polarized. Supporters highlight his musical genius and philanthropy, often dismissing the allegations as unproven or biased. Critics argue the claims deserve serious attention, pointing to the detailed stories in Leaving Neverland and a broader cultural push, fueled by movements like Number Me Too, to confront abuse openly. Diana's public support reflects not just friendship, but a deep sense of loyalty and empathy. As a cultural icon, her voice shapes conversations, revealing the tough balance between personal bonds and public responsibility when controversy hits home. The Chosen Guardian. Despite the many twists and turns in their lives, Michael Jackson and Diana Ross stayed close friends right up until his passing on June 25, 2009. Soon after his death, it was revealed that Michael had named Diana as the guardian of his children if both he and his mother, Katherine Jackson, were no longer able to care for them. This choice was made clear in Michael's 2002 will, long before his health declined. Family lawyer Stacey Phillips called it a huge honor, saying, "Raising children was the most important role Michael Jackson believed he had. And to say that Diana Ross would replace his mom, you can't have any bigger honor." Michael's decision likely reflected their decades-long friendship and Diana's experience raising her own 5 children. Interestingly, his ex-wife Debbie Rowe, the mother of his 2 eldest children, was not mentioned in the will as a guardian. After Michael's death, his kids stayed with their grandmother, Katherine, at the family home in Encino, California. But Jackson biographer Stacey Brown expressed surprise at Diana's selection, pointing to her past troubles, including a DUI arrest and an incident at an airport. "She's not the best choice," Brown told reporters. "But if one of Michael's rules was to pick someone who wouldn't do it for the money, I think he knew there was no way she would take advantage of his kids." Brown added, "Diana Ross raised all her kids. Katherine raised all of hers. Michael didn't want anyone with small children because he wanted his kids to get all the attention. You can't blame him for that. Michael Jackson loved his kids. They were his best friends, and he was theirs." Diana Ross has been a devoted mother to her 5 children, and her bond with Michael was one of the most meaningful in his life. Michael looked up to Diana a lot, and many say he even tried to emulate her. Thanks for joining this deep dive into Diana Ross's memories of her friendship with Michael Jackson. Their bond stretched across decades and clearly left a powerful mark on both their lives. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you won't miss any stories about music. Legends like Diana and Michael. Drop a comment below and tell us what you think about their friendship or what you want to see next on the channel. Until next time, take care and keep the music playing.